Who won? Who won on Buzz Lightyear
Oh,
Oh,
Space Race?
it was a little embarrassing. I don't know if Fred's blaster was working
I don't talk about it.
because
I'm
I think I,
assuming Fred lost.
I beat him by a significant margin.
I
So
don't want it that significant.
by at
You
least
must have been
60.
sitting in the one that Josh was sitting in, Fred. Because remember, I think I might have had it backwards because he corrected me, but I think maybe it was the one in Magic Kingdom where his wasn't working.
It
I
must not have been working because
I will say this: we did ride that after we had already consumed
an excessive
an
amount.
excessive amount of eggnog and cookies, and the middle joystick of our
Whoa.
will spin you around. So I think Fred was more focused on keeping his composure than firing the blaster.
Somebody wanted to keep spinning us.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Going Beyond the Castle. I am your host, Fred, and of course with me as always is Miss Lori Talamo, and we are here for episode 7, which I am super excited because we have our very first ever guest appearance, which we'll get into a little bit here in just a few minutes, but super excited for episode 7 as we dive into my recent trip to Disney. So it should be a fun episode. Miss Lori is going to run the show today. Lori, I think you said you had some announcements before we dive in.
Yeah, so for those of you who aren't familiar, when you visit Disney, you get offered a bounce back offer. And so, which needs to be booked within 7 days from checking out of your resort, and you get a discount on your next stay. That offer has been out for a while now. However, it hasn't been extended past October. But as of today, you can now book through the end of the year if those dates are applicable. So those of you who want to take advantage, if you had to have a trip in the next couple of months, because we're almost at the end of the year now, or even into next year, you can book your next trip at a discounted rate. And then some fun things that I saw, they've made a lot of announcements on the Disney Treasure, the newest cruise ship that's coming out. And so the one thing that made me think about you was the Haunted Mansion Parlor. So that looks
awesome.
so awesome. It does. Yeah, I'm pulling up the article on here. The lounge. I don't know if it's the lighting or if it's the actual furniture that looks purple. I would imagine that it is purple. The sofa and the bar stools. I don't know. It looks super neat. So I'd be interested in visiting this Haunted Mansion Parlor. It looks really cool.
Yeah. It looks super cool. I've got some fellow agents that are on the ship for its sailing, and I'm super jealous. Maybe one day.
Sweet. Yeah, I actually have some clients that I booked on this one. So yeah, it'll look fun. They also announced they're going to have the Tale of Moana stage show. Oh, another thing that you'll probably like. Aren't you a Coco fan?
Of course. I'm a Disney fan.
Yes. Yeah, so there's dining at Plaza de Coco, which is a Coco-based themed restaurant. I couldn't.
Did you see the Epcot themed room?
I did not.
Oh, I'm gonna have to send you pictures of the Epcot themed room. It is way outside of my budget, but it's fine. One can dream.
Oh, on the Treasure?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. No, I didn't see that. And then they also have the Skipper Society, which is based on Jungle Cruise. So that one looks pretty cool too. So lots of announcements on the Disney Treasure. Yeah, they came out with a bunch of stuff
on the Disney Treasure.
Yeah. So interested in Disney Cruise Line? Reach out to your favorite travel agents. Yeah. What else did I get? And I don't know if this is legit, but I saw on some articles on Soaring Around the World
they're
updating the ending.
So they updated the Paris scene to where it is no longer, the Eiffel Tower is no longer curved, because you know how when you go, it's like curved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got rid of that. They fixed that to where it's no longer curved. And then the exit scene where they fly over Epcot is now updated with the current
World
Epcot, because it
celebration.
used to be
Yeah.
the electric umbrella was still there.
Mm.
So they've
Yeah, I
updated it
saw it
to
on. Yeah, I
Imagination
saw it
Pavilion or
on.
whatever they're calling it.
Gotcha. Sweet. Yeah, I saw that today, so I didn't look into it. And then of course, there's a few more articles out about Villain's Land being located behind Beyond Big Thunder. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious if the Big Thunder Mountain shutdown is to make way to
It's
prepare for
gotta
that.
be. Like, I don't understand
Yeah,
why you would shut down
for
one
that
of the
long.
top roller coasters at Magic Kingdom for over a year. Like, it's
Right.
gotta be because they're planning to do a whole bunch of construction back there.
Yeah, I think so too. And then a little bit of Disneyland love. Looks like Disneyland military rates for 2025 have been released.
Finally, like I've been waiting like 3 weeks for those.
Yeah. Well, now they're there, so you can go look.
Yeah. I think they dropped last Thursday.
Yeah, and then there's a discount out for Disney Plus subscribers where you can buy 2 days, get 1 day free.
Saw that.
Yep. And then over at the Universal World, they announced the Mardi Gras celebration over at Universal, which is going to be February 1st through March 30th. We were actually there one year for cheer competition, and we're at Universal for Mardi Gras, so it's pretty cool. They had the Mardi Gras floats, and I'm pretty sure Blaine Kern was involved in those Mardi Gras floats, is what they were saying.
Oh.
And then the Harry Potter and Battle of the Ministry attraction has had some announcements.
Well,
Are you a Potter fan too, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know when Fred sent me the picture, and I was like, and then when I was reading the article, I was like, this is giving me some Tower of Terror vibes.
No,
Just on the.
no, like I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know, because it was like drops and something else it said. I'm like, so we'll see. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. It just depends.
It's going to be great. It's going to be the best Harry Potter ride you've ever been on.
Probably so. I mean, shoot, what's the other one? Hagrid's is my favorite.
From Gringotts. Oh, Hagrid's, yeah.
Yes, Hagrid's is my favorite. So that's it. A little bit of announcements to kind of keep y'all up to date with the newest things that are coming out. But now we can get to the fun part and get over to our 28-hour Disney trip. Yes. So with that said, we have Matt, who is joining us today, who Fred drug along on his 28-hour adventure.
It felt like dragging him leading up to it.
It's like instead of Bill and Ted, it's Fred and Matt's adventure.
It was an adventure.
Yeah. So, okay. So we have some questions for both of y'all, but first, like what, Fred, if you want to kind of kick it off and let us know what inspired this whirlwind trip, like what made you decide that you were going to take a 1-day trip and head over to Disney?
I didn't want to take a 1-day adventure. I initially, after I became a travel agent, I was like, I feel like I need to go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party because I've never been. And so if I'm going to send clients to it, like I want to go so that I can tell them what they're going to experience. Mm-hmm. And so after a week of trying to convince Rachel to let me spend the money, she finally agreed to it. And I started planning the trip. You know, I was going to drive down on a Thursday, check into my hotel, go to the party, go back to my room at the end of the night, just chill out and leisurely make my way back to Louisiana on Friday. And then for some reason, I was like, I don't want to go by myself. Who is crazy enough to go with me? And in comes Matt. And so started talking to Matt, who has never been to Disney before. And I would like to put that out there.
Well, I went once, and that was
Doesn't
as a
count.
small child, maybe about 1 or 2 years old. So,
Yeah,
yeah, as Fred says, it
doesn't
doesn't
count.
count.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
And so bought our, like, we started talking about buying. I had already bought my tickets. So at this point, I was pretty much telling him, like, hey, if you're going, like, I've already bought my ticket. We have to go November 14th. And he was like, well, we're already off work on Monday. I can't take another day off. And so we got the bright idea to do a turn and burn trip and to fly out Thursday morning, go to the party, and come back Friday. And so canceled the hotel room, bought the flights, and started planning.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And I was a little surprised at some of the things we'll talk about that I didn't realize you were doing. So basically was Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party was kind of like the goal. Like you didn't really plan on doing any other parks. Like you just wanted to go to the party.
I would have loved to gone to other parks, but no, we just did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. 8 hours in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, and I actually experienced this when Josh and I went in October. And I tell clients a lot because we hear about like on party days, the park is really not that crowded because for folks who don't want to park hop, they don't spend the day in Magic Kingdom because you have to leave at 6. And so I've always heard that the party days, the crowds are a lot lower. And so when we were there in October, I purposely went on a night that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party was happening. And that's exactly the case. You know, we purchased multi-pass for the day and we really didn't need it.
Yeah.
The crowds were pretty low. Okay, so you decided, you convinced Matt, y'all said y'all going to go on this whirlwind trip and basically to visit Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So, and Matt, we'll let you go first, unless you want to kick it off to Fred, either way. Like what was your first impressions walking into Magic Kingdom with the the Christmas decorations and the party? It's late, so I'm half asleep.
It's past her bedtime.
Yeah.
It is past my bedtime. Yes. Especially, it's not so bad on a Sunday when we record because, I can nap, but I've been up since 5. So, yeah. So, what was your first impression walking into Magic Kingdom with all the decorations and it being prepared for Mickey's party?
Sure. Yes. So, I mean, we got there I'd say about 40 minutes to an hour in line in the queue right before 4 o'clock when it opened. And they sort of let us in maybe about 15 minutes prior to 4 just to make some more space for all the other guests that were coming in for the Very Merry Christmas Party. And then 4 o'clock on the dot, they let us start walking in and we are headed into the park. And they already have snow machines going, blowing fake snow. They're handing out the ornaments, and it was just Christmas everywhere. It just very surreal walking in, seeing all the Disney employees dressed up, very festive. Everyone around you is wearing some sort of holiday type outfit, and it was just a phenomenal just vibe going into the park. It was exciting, a little nervous too, as well. Like first experience, not to really know what to expect. But I mean, having Fred there was tremendous because he knew exactly where to go. I mean, I don't think we pulled up a map once because he just knew the layout of Magic Kingdom. So it made everything a lot more comfortable to just maneuver around for sure.
Sweet. So who picked out y'all? Did y'all wear the shirt that you sent the picture in that morning? Is that what y'all wore to the party?
Yeah, we wore our Chip and Dale Double Trouble T-shirts. That was a gift from Fred. Very sweet of him to provide us that. So, and we got a bunch of
so many comments.
Yeah, so many comments. Everyone was excited with it. They're like, "Oh, Double Trouble! You guys are so cute!" And we're like, "Yeah, we're awesome." So it was a good time.
Sweet. So, Fred, what was your impression since obviously not your first time to Magic Kingdom, but your first time walking in for the Christmas party?
It was super cool. Like, I mean, I've been to Magic Kingdom, I don't even know how many times at this point, but I've never been able to go for Christmas, and I've always wanted to go for Christmas. So, I mean, it was super cool to walk in and see the giant Christmas tree up front. And then,
Mhm.
just to see all the Christmas decorations around the park. Like that's really what I was there for, just to see Magic Kingdom at Christmas. And it was just super cool. It's a very similar setup to um, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and that when you walk into the park, you take a right. You don't go down Main Street. You go through the back street, and they've got this pretty much. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact DJ that's out playing for Halloween, playing music, and you've got all the cast members there, and their very Merry Christmas Party attire, handing out, like Matt said, the very Merry Christmas Party ornaments, which is one of the souvenirs that you get when you go to the party. Um, and it's just Christmas music blaring. Like it was just like a dream come true for me. It was super cool.
Oh, I'm so jealous. It is on my
Next
goal
year, let's
to
go.
next year go. Yes. I've done the Halloween party 3 years. So next year, my goal is to get the Christmas party in.
Yeah,
And so, yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to make it happen. I'm willing it to happen. So,
it's so like I'll
well,
save my
now that
comment.
you've done this,
I'll save
yeah,
my
now that
comment.
you've done this, I'm like, because, and I've talked about this on episodes before, how our vacations are kind of dictated around Olivia's cheer schedule. But I'm like, now that you've done a 28-hour trip, I'm like, man, we can do that. Like, if we go on a Friday and we get home for Sunday, then Olivia doesn't have to miss cheer. So her and I can
Yeah.
can do it. Okay, so this is the fun part that I want to hear about because I saw your post about all the snacks
Hmm.
that that you tried. So we'll let you go first, Fred, on what holiday treats you experienced while you were there.
So my plan backfired very quickly. Um, we made the very poor decision of hunting down the eggnog, and so
Oh, God.
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is very similar to the Halloween party in that they have different stations set up around the parks. And so you can get unlimited, literally all you can eat and drink, hot cocoa, apple cider, and eggnog. And then you also get a cookie. So we went to our first station, which was Tortuga Tavern. And we got apple cider and sugar cookie. And then we made our way over to Cosmic Rays because we were told that's where the eggnog was. We were lied to, which is fine because we got hot chocolate and another cookie. And we were told go over to whatever the little cafe is underneath, under the People Mover. I don't know the name of it. But we were told to go there, and they were like, we were lied to again, and they had apple cider and cookies. And so I just said, screw it. I looked at the map. I think this was the only time we looked at the map. And I said, all right, let's go over to Gaston's Tavern. And so we made our way over to Gaston's Tavern. And keep in mind, this was all in like a 10-minute span at this point
Oh,
because
gosh.
Matt knows how to speed walk when it comes to snacks. I've never seen him walk that fast. He was booking it through the park. And so we booked it over to Gaston's Tavern, finally found the eggnog. And so at this point, we were 2 cups of apple cider. No, and on the way back to Gaston's, we stopped at Cosmic Rays again. So we got another cup of hot chocolate and another cookie. So at this point, we were 2 apple ciders, 2 hot cocos, and 4 Christmas cookies in a matter of probably 15 minutes. And so then we got to Gaston's and we found the eggnog. We were stoked because eggnog is life. And so we just started literally get in line, get the eggnog and the cookie, chug it, get right back in line and go around. Like we didn't
Oh,
take
my
breaks.
gosh.
And so we made it to about 7 rounds of double shots of eggnog and Christmas cookies.
Wait, so y'all had 7 eggnogs and cookies on top of the apple cider and hot chocolate.
Yes.
Wow.
And so at this point, we struggled, but we were committed and we made it to 10 rounds of eggnog. And it was super cool because, like, eventually we got to the point where, like, the cast members knew us. They remembered us because, it had only been 30 seconds. And we were high-fiving them and having the best time, except for the fact that I wanted to vomit. but it was
Yeah. I
fine.
was like, did you pack
And
some
so
Pepto?
my whole plan of getting like the gingerbread shake and all the specialty cookies went out the door because I was full of eggnog and cookies. But it was some of the best eggnog
Oh.
I've had in my life.
That's very good.
It really was.
Was it like an 8 ounce cup of eggnog or just like a little
It was like a double shot.
2 ounce?
Like,
I gotcha.
you know,
Yeah.
but
Enough to pair with a cookie, I
yeah,
should say. Yeah.
I gotcha. So you
it was
eat
a
the
lot.
cookie and then just chase it with the eggnog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we got none of the actual party special snacks because one, I had food poisoning this whole trip. Because I woke up Tuesday when we went Thursday. So I woke up midnight on Thursday with food poisoning just to
Oh
wake
my
up two and a
gosh.
half hours later to go to the airport. So I had food poisoning. I was still recovering from. We hadn't had it. We tried lunch, but neither of us really ate lunch. And so all we had was sugar and more
Sugar.
sugar. And so by the time we made it through 10 rounds of eggnog, I just wanted to die, happily.
Did
But
you ride anything immediately after?
we did the
The
people
people
mover, and it was
mover.
fabulous.
Okay. That's okay.
There's a picture out there of me sleeping on the people mover.
Oh, you need to post that in the chat.
I'll
Matt
share it.
had it.
I'll share it for sure.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah,
So I'm sure you probably can't add a lot. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot of great snacks. I mean, Disney is full of great snacks, but we did not get to try any party specific ones because we made the poor decision of eggnog,
Our biggest fear was
not
at,
getting eggnog.
at 7 o'clock. That's when they started handing out the cookies and the beverages. And our closest stop was Tortuga Tavern. So we
Yeah,
get there and the line was really long. And our fear was that's what it's going to look like for the remainder of the evening. Um, Not the case. I mean, at first, yes, because 7 o'clock, everyone's ready for a cookie and a beverage. But the line moves so quickly. I mean, they are so well organized with passing out the cookies, the beverages, and the line moves. So by the time we found the eggnog, it got to the point where we couldn't eat the cookies fast enough because they come wrapped, individually wrapped. So by the time you
Mm.
open it, eat it, drink your eggnog, we've already gotten to the front door again of Gaston's Tavern to then get another cookie and eggnog. Um, Towards the end, we just told them to stop handing us cookies
and
because
just give us the eggnog.
we
Just give us
couldn't
the
eat.
eggnog.
Yeah, we couldn't eat any more cookies. Fred was sweet enough to just continue to collect them, put them in his gingerbread stitch, excuse me, backpack, which is on his back wall, and he would save them for the girls.
They
So
did not make.
he had about 10 cookies, 12 cookies in his bag towards the end of it, which it's a small bag already. We were cramming the cookies in, but yeah,
And they didn't get
once
any?
They got
What'd you say?
very smashed
some
cookies.
smash ones.
Oh, gotcha.
But the lines move great.
Oh.
I mean, there was the very first line that we were in was maybe a 3-4 minute wait at most, and then after that it was seconds. That's how efficient they were with handing it out. So
At one point, the Gaston's line got a little long, but I mean, it still moves so fast.
yeah, it was actually a saving
Good.
grace.
Yeah, it almost would have been better if it would have been a little bit longer to give y'all time to kind of
Yeah,
digest and
for sure.
Learning experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So, did you guys watch the fireworks show? So, comparing to the Halloween party, since that's the only one I've gone to, I know they have the stage show. Did they do a stage show over at the Christmas party?
So they do. It is called Mickey's Wonderful. No, it's there it is. The Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration. We watched it, and by we I mean Matt, because I was on the ground cringing from the
Dying.
amount of eggnog that I had ingested. Um, But I mean, for the most part, I watched a little bit of it. Matt can give a little bit more details behind it. But I will say, like, the crowds were super low. Like, we were able to, if people in front of us wouldn't have stood up, like, we were able to sprawl out like 30 feet from Cinderella's castle on the ground. Like, there was like plenty of space. But Matt, if you want to talk a little bit about that one, because I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, so it was a sorry, it was a great opportunity because we got there right after we did a bunch of rides in the beginning. That was our main focus, and then 7 o'clock, cookies come out. We get our fill, and it planned perfectly because from there we went straight to in front of the castle and to find some seats. We waited for the first parade because they do two iterations of the parade, the Christmas parade. The first one was ending, and we moved right on in center stage of the castle. We found a nice little spot. Everyone is gathering around, really just finding like a spot to sit and really camp out for the next show to start. And it was great. I mean, you could a great vantage point from where we were at, probably from all across the
Yeah.
center part of Magic Kingdom. And the show was fantastic. I mean, all the casts are coming out. They do a bunch of songs, and it's a really cool experience because they project onto the castle. They've got lights going everywhere. People were really respectful of space, but also to sort of remain quiet too, to allow everyone to enjoy. So you're not like trying to listen really intently. You can hear everything. It was great. No, the show was spectacular. It was really neat, and it ends with Mickey and Minnie coming out as like Santa and Mrs. Claus, um, and from there, I believe we went right into the fireworks show. Is that right, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So did they do fireworks twice
So
after,
no,
or just once?
they do the parade twice. They do five ish showings of the stage show, and then they do one firework.
One fireworks. Oh, sweet.
So
Yeah, that's
uh,
that's good because it gives you, especially having the two parades, to give you the opportunity, especially for folks who maybe have dining or want
yeah,
to ride.
and we
I feel
skipped that.
like, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, I was just gonna say we skipped to that first parade just because, like, that first parade is really all the people with kids like trying to
Yeah,
get
that's
it
what I was
in
going to say.
early,
Hmm.
and so we just skipped that first parade, and then the the crowds were low enough as it was. And then just to tack on, skipping that first parade and doing rides and stuff instead, like, just made the wait times even lower. Um, so really, it's all about timing. I mean, just like it is for the Halloween party. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, crowds were super low for us. It was fabulous.
That's awesome. So, did you guys do any of the character meet and greets? Do they have those like they do at Halloween or no?
Yeah, they do. We didn't do any of them, but they do a lot. They do. I'm trying to think of the ones that they do. Of course, they do Mickey and Minnie. They do. Chip and Dale are out. There is. I think the Fab Five is over in the back and in the over in the circus area where they are for Halloween. There's a lot of
Mhm.
photo ops around the park, even non-character ones. They have like these little cardboard like picture frames. It's kind of like you're in a picture frame, and it's like all decorated for Christmas. And they've got like professional lighting set up, and so they've got a whole bunch of those. And then of course they've got a whole bunch of character meet and greets where the characters are in their Christmas outfits, like Chip and Dale are decorated for Christmas or dressed up for Christmas. I'm trying to think. I think they had toy soldiers too. Um, I can't remember what all
Well,
they have, but they have a lot of character meet and greets. But the lines for those, we didn't really have, like, we didn't purchase the photo pass. Um,
mhm.
So we didn't really put photos as a high priority for us. We were more
Yeah.
focused on the food and the rides.
The cookies and the rides.
Fact. The cookies and the rides, yeah.
Yeah. So, so what rides did you all do?
A lot. Um, so like Matt said, we got there. We were at the front of the turnstile for the party, so we were one of the first ones in right at 4 o'clock. As soon as we got in, we booked it over to Tron because I've never ridden Tron before. Because the last time we went to Disney, it just opened up for standby, so it was like always crazy long.
Yeah.
So Tron was a 30-minute wait. And the park was still pretty crowded at this point because you had a mixture of all the party people coming in and the people who were knocking out their last 2 hours at the park. So it was still pretty crowded, but Tron was only a 30-minute wait. And that's if it was that. Like,
Yeah.
it posted 30, but we were probably in and out in like 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
From there, we booked it over to Big Thunder Mountain. Knocked out Big Thunder Mountain in maybe 15 minutes. From there, what did we do? I think we went and did
Pirates.
We went and did Pirates. Pirates was a little bit of a wait, but it was still probably only like 10, 15 minutes. Knocked out Pirates. Went and did Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion was a 13-minute wait, which we always know what that means. So there was no wait for Haunted Mansion. And then from there, we booked it over to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because I've also never rode that one before. Just because it's always a long wait and I've never been interested.
So long, always.
It's always so long, but it was only a 15-minute wait.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we rode that one. Super cool. I'm gonna have to post our photo from that one because it's one of my favorite photos. And then from there,
Tiana's, right?
we did Tiana's, and Tiana's was a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we hit Tiana's just before 7. So just before the park officially started. So before the party even started, we rode every ride that we wanted to.
Was that your first time riding Tiana's, or did you ride it when you went with Rachel?
I rode it back in September.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was Matt's favorite ride. Matt, what was your favorite ride of all of them?
Yes.
It really, as the night progressed, my favorite ride would change.
Okay.
But Tiana's was great. It had just so many different aspects and levels to it, which was super cool. And being that Fred and I are currently in New Orleans, it kind of has that homey vibe to it. But I mean, it was great. I mean, Tron was spectacular. A very unique roller coaster ride, being that like you're riding sort of like a motorcycle, so that position is very different from your traditional just sit back, safety bar across the lap sort of style. But they were all great. I'd say Tiana's at the beginning was great. After all the cookies, it was then the people mover.
It was.
Because then you could just sit back and relax. I think we did that maybe. I think we did People Mover 3 times before.
We did People Mover, and then we went and did Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin, and then we went back to People Mover.
Yeah, but no, it was great. I mean, like Fred said, at the beginning, our main focus was the rides because everything else in the later part of the evening was what we were going to focus on with the shows, the fireworks, and parade. And being that we got in at 4, the park was still open for another 2 hours for the rest of the attendees not going to the Very Merry Christmas Party. We were so surprised that the rides were so short. But most of the people there had already done the rides that they needed to, and they were getting ready for either dinner or just getting ready to leave. And I think we planned it out really well to just focus on rides so that after that you could just enjoy all the shows at the end. But yeah, like Fred said, 30 minutes was the longest standby time advertised. but
Yeah.
I maybe 20, 25 minutes was realistically how long we waited. And every line was just constantly moving. I mean, there was very rare that we were at an actual standstill waiting for a ride. But yeah, it was incredible. The rides were fantastic. I was super pleased that we were able to knock them out so early. So
Yeah.
Who won? Who won on Buzz Lightyear?
Oh,
oh,
Ice cream.
it was a little embarrassing. I don't know if Fred's blaster was working
I don't want to talk about it.
because I
I'm
think
assuming Fred lost.
I beat him by a significant margin.
I
So
don't want it that significant.
by at
You
least
must have been
60.
sitting in the one that Josh was sitting in, Fred. Because remember, I think I might have had it backwards because he corrected me, but I think maybe it was the one in Magic Kingdom where his wasn't working.
It
I
must not have been working because
I will say this: we did ride that after we had already consumed
an excessive
an
amount
excessive
of
amount of eggnog and cookies, and the middle joystick of our
Whoa.
will spin you around. So I think Fred was more focused on keeping his composure
Was.
than firing the
If
blasters.
somebody wanted to keep spinning us,
Yeah,
I'm
was
pretty
a
sure I
saboteur.
spoke about I'm pretty sure I spoke about this already once before, but I refuse to ride that with my kids anymore. Now, Olivia and I did ride it when we went over the summer, and she wouldn't do it. But whenever we ride, see, it's Braden because I talked about Braden throwing me in Super Mario
Yep.
Brothers and killing me. When Braden and I ride that together, now Braden's 20 now, so he's not a little kid anymore, but he kept spinning me. Like every time I'd get in the groove and I'm shooting and he would start spinning the thing and I'd get so mad because
When
it
you know
makes
that
me
tunnel,
nauseous.
with the like right before you get into the final Zerg part.
Yeah, when it's dark and
That alone, I was ready to vomit. And then he was like, "Let's spin." Whoa.
yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about that one is that you have the control of spinning it in the car.
Yeah. And then of course we finished off the night with our last ride was Jingle Cruise. Can't go to Magic Kingdom without doing Jungle Cruise.
So is it different for the party?
It
The
is.
Christmas
So they
party?
tell.
It is.
So a lot of the props throughout the ride are decorated for Christmas, and then of course the your captain tells more Christmas jokes than normal jokes, but they're still just as corny as the regular jokes.
They're beautiful. I was actually talking to Fred about it, and I said, "Hey, as we're before all the show started, I was asking him, do we want to hit a jungle cruise?" And he said, "Well, it's just a boat ride, and all you do is you sit there, your captain's going to tell you jokes, and then that's the ride." And I asked him, "Well, are we going to see the backside of water? Because if so, then I do want to go." And he said, "You do." But at the time, we were also focused on some other rides. So we actually had finished all the show. We finished the show, the fireworks. We relocated away from Main Street, right? We actually went towards where the parade was going to start. Yeah. Camped out there. The parade finished, and then we had 30 minutes until midnight. So we were right there to go to Jungle Cruise, got on the boat, and we got to see the backside of water, which was just as magical as Magic Kingdom. So, but it was great. It was actually cool because they changed the sign for the ride as well. With instead of jungle, they throw an eye in there to make it jingle, and they throw some Christmas lights. It was pretty neat.
It was cool. I'm glad we did it. I will say that.
And I'm probably going to mess it up. But I remember when we went the first time, Braden was 9. And so the joke was, oh gosh, I mean, something about a fish without an eye or without eyes. And the answer was, and Braden was like, well, I think because without the eye. And I think they got frustrated because he guessed it. It was so funny. We all thought it was funny. Ray thought it was funny. But the guy, I mean, he was probably acting, but he just kind of looked at him. I guess he wasn't expecting him to get it. I didn't expect him to get I didn't know what it was, but he knew what it was. It was pretty funny. So if you had to pick out what was your favorite experience with regards to the party, what would you both pick? Whoever can go first.
You can go first.
So for me, I would say the best part is going to be towards the end of the night where we are watching the shows, then immediately go into a fireworks show, which I was not expecting the fireworks show to last as long as it did. I mean, that had to have been, Fred, like a 10-minute fireworks show that's paired with music and everything else. It's just so captivating. It was super fun. And then being able to walk and watch the parade and see all the cast members walking down, and then ending it while walking out we went through Main Street with all the shops, the snow still falling, the lights are everywhere. It's, the nights come to an end and it doesn't even feel like we're close to it at that point, which is the atmosphere around. I'd say was probably the most memorable part because, the rides are fun. They're exciting, being able to do those things. But I feel the real experience is just being able to see the different shops, the different sights and sounds throughout Magic Kingdom, just right in that center part of the amusement park was just incredible.
Sweet. Fred?
I don't know how to top that. No, I would just say I mean, mine's probably got to be the same. Just the vibe that, Magic Kingdom at night is already gorgeous enough. But Magic Kingdom at night during Christmas just gives, it really does. You forget about everything outside of Magic Kingdom that's going on, and you can really just focus on being there. And everybody's telling you Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and it was just super cool. Just the vibe that was throughout Magic Kingdom. Everybody was super happy. It was a really cool vibe.
Yeah, I like how you said, Matt, because in our small group, one of the devotionals that we talked about, Fred, was how Main Street doesn't really get a lot of the attention. Folks usually just walk in Magic Kingdom, and myself included, and you're so focused on going to a specific area that you just kind of sometimes walk through Main Street and miss what it has to offer. So I think that's pretty neat that was the one thing, that you recognize and appreciated. Magic Kingdom, I mean, I guess that's where the name comes from. It's just magical. You just walk in and it's a feeling I don't cry. A lot of people are oh, I cried when I saw the castle.
Every time.
I don't cry, but I'm there. You get that emotional feeling. People that don't understand don't get it, but those who do, you get it.
It was so surreal. It really was.
Yeah, it is.
It definitely
especially
is.
Matt said, walking out, walking down Main Street, all the lights are on. Main Street USA itself is gorgeous at night. And now you're adding on the Christmas wreaths and the Christmas lights and the snow's coming out, and you're walking towards the giant 50-foot Christmas tree. It's just something I don't remember being sad walking out of Magic Kingdom. When we were out, I was definitely sad because I got to look back and I was like, dang it. But as we were walking out, it was just pure joy of just there's snow, there's Christmas lights. It was.
And you got to think too, at that point, we had been up for 20 hours on our feet for the whole time, just going. And there were parts in the evening when we're sitting on the people mover and our feet are tired and our bodies are tired and we're just exhausted. But at that moment, when you're in Main Street, whether you're watching the parade or not, all the lights and just everything around you, all of those thoughts go away. I mean,
Yeah.
really at that point, Fred and I, we had the same feeling that, all right, let's run this again. We can just
Yeah.
keep going. We got such a high, such a second wave of energy through, but that was fed off of just the surroundings. It was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if y'all had the opportunity, would you do it again?
I tried to get him to go to Disneyland this weekend. He said no.
He did.
Oh
He
gosh.
did. He's like, Matt, you ready to go back again? And I definitely would. The only thing that I would change is I told Fred, I said I would agree to just getting a hotel for the night so that you can rest, recover, and then if you needed to travel out the next day, do so. Um, but I will admit, having Fred there was what made it so much better. Being my first time, so not knowing the layout of anything, not knowing how things work, not even knowing how to get from the airport to ticketing, to hop on a monorail, to get to the gate. There are so many things that I never would have thought of, logistics wise, that Fred took care of. Just one, from his experience and that he's helping out with the trip, made it that much more easier for me, where I could just enjoy and experience the trip and the magic of the Very Merry Christmas Party. So what I would change is spend the night instead of leaving the next
Mhm.
morning. But what I would always consider or want to do again is just having someone knowledgeable, someone experienced to just guide me through it until I become as experienced as you guys, with,
One day.
yeah, one day. That's right. But no, it was unbelievable. I would recommend it to anybody. And I don't think I could ever tire of an experience like it. There are some events that you'll go to and you're like, well, I'm glad I did that, check the box. But this is one of those things that I think you could go back every year and just never be disappointed,
Yeah. And like,
Yeah, exactly.
I think, I kind of lean towards it, hinted towards it at the beginning, but like, I've done the Halloween party twice now. And like, it compares, the Christmas party compares like nothing to the Halloween party. Like, it was just so much better. Like I don't know, just like, and it could have been the fact I didn't have kids, which, don't get me wrong, but I forgot what it's like to go to Disney without kids, and it was beautiful. Um,
Right.
but like, it just, things just seem to flow so much smoother at the Christmas party than it did at the Halloween party. Um, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like, just, I felt like the crowds were better than the Halloween party. And I mean, of course, we could have got lucky, right? Like, we went on a Thursday. We could have just got pure luck with the crowds that we had. I mean, it was still a sold out party, just like almost every night is. But the crowds were just fabulous. Like, I didn't bump into anybody. Like, I barely had to wait in line for anything. Whereas, like the Halloween party, we would wait in line for 20 minutes just for some candy. And
Mhm.
then, some of the characters were like 2 hour waits. So just like, I would, if I got to pick between, Halloween party versus Christmas party, I'm going Christmas party all day. And that's not because I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with Christmas. It's just, I felt like it was just better.
we
Um,
we
Yeah, I was
also
gonna
got
say, no, go ahead. You go ahead.
uh, we also got super lucky with the weather.
oh,
I mean, it was maybe 70 degrees, clear skies, and I don't know if that's typical for like Orlando around that time of November, but I think going a little bit earlier in the season, right when the Christmas party starts, because Halloween had just ended, um, I think we found a sweet spot for going to the Christmas party. I'm
yeah.
sure that it'll be a lot more chaotic, or maybe just a little different as you get closer to Christmas, which could be better, worse, depending. But yeah, I think the time that we went was just you couldn't beat it.
Yeah. And I'll say too,
Yeah.
like it was, we debated back and forth to like what we were gonna wear. Like, oh, do we wear pants? Do we not wear pants? It's gonna get cold. Blah 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 blah. But like, it was perfect shorts and t-shirt weather. Like, I didn't get sunburnt. Like, which is a lot for me. Like it was just fabulous weather, perfect weather.
That's awesome. I feel like, again, I've been to the Halloween party 3 times, but I feel like the atmosphere at Christmas, just from the videos that I've seen, and
Yeah,
now from hearing, y'all talk about it, that yeah, it's an event, it's a party, but it's more of the experience. I don't know, because Halloween, it's trick or treating, and everybody's
yeah,
dressed up in costumes, so it's, I don't know. I feel like the atmosphere at a Christmas party's got to be so much better.
yeah. It really was. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. It was just, I feel like it was just a more laid back, casual kind of party.
Sweet.
So, mm. But
Yeah.
I
So
would
y'all have
totally do the
any
28
closing
hours.
thoughts, or wait, what's that?
I said I would totally do the 28 hours again. I'm down. Like, it sucked in the moment. Um, and it took me a couple days to recover, but it was an experience I honestly will never forget. And I was telling my friend, like, that is probably my favorite Disney trip. Like, 28 hours with Matt, introducing him to Disney, getting to experience Disney at Christmas. That's probably my favorite Disney trip so far.
And it is
Yeah.
doable.
It is.
It's doable to do a very quick turn and burn. I hope that anyone that decides to go, has more time in their schedule to participate and be able to spend a little bit more time in the area. But if you only have 24 to 28 hours, you can absolutely go experience Disney,
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
And I'll say, like, um, you know, for my final thoughts, like, it takes a lot of planning. Like, you and I have talked about this before, Lori. Like, I was looking at a Facebook post today talking about people just winging it at Disney. Like, you can ask Matt. I started a note that I shared with him like in July, and I've been working on that note since July, doing research, trying to figure out like what past year parties have been like and how things are going to be. And like, you really got to do your research and you got to plan. Like, you can't just show up to these things and wing it. I feel
Yeah.
like the Christmas party, you probably have a little bit more flexibility to do that. But it's still like, I would definitely, just be prepared. Like some of the things we had to take in consideration was, when are we going to go see these stage shows and the parades? And like, for us without kids, like later in the night is like definitely the time to go, because all the people with kids who put their kids to bed at a respectable time are gone. So you want to hit those later events. And, are characters a priority for you over rides? Because if that's the case, like, once 7 o'clock hits, you really got to hit those characters.
Hmm.
Um, and like, where do you want to watch things? So, like Matt said, like, we relocated away from Magic Kingdom uh,
The
for the
parade.
for the parade. And I mean, even early in the night, I asked him, I was like, "How much do you care about sitting on Main Street with the snow to watch the parade, or do you want to go somewhere where it starts, like where the parade starts, and it's going to be lower crowds and it's going to be a quick out?" And so we went with
Hmm.
that. And so we went over into Frontierland where the parade started, and crowds were super low. Like, again, I had the ability to just space out and do my own thing. So there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration with the parties. But, you know,
Yeah.
if you do some solid planning, like, it's going to be a super successful night. Just be prepared to have an excessive amount of eggnog and do nothing after that, and you'll be fine.
Bring some Pepto.
Bring some Pepto.
Oh gosh. Well, Matt, we appreciate you joining us. And you're special because you're our first guest.
Yes.
So for the history of Going Beyond the Castle podcast, you will be our first guest. So we appreciate you coming in and your insights and sharing your experience with us.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and it was an absolute pleasure to experience, Magic Kingdom for really my first time with some fantastic people like yourselves. You guys, people like you is what made it special for me, being able to take care of those that want to experience Disney, but, don't really know how to do it. You guys have the experience, the knowledge, and sharing it with others like myself is what made it really, truly magical. And I appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a friend experience to go with you, that's one of the benefits of having a travel agent. So we can give the guidance and tips and share knowledge with you to help you plan a successful trip.
Absolutely.
So are you hooked? You ready to go back?
You know it. Absolutely.
I told him he was going to be spoiled now because, he got to ride some of Disney's Magic Kingdom's top rides within 15 minutes of waiting. You don't get that in a normal day at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. I told Fred I can only go to Magic Kingdom now during the Very Merry Christmas Party because nothing else will be as magical. So
yeah,
right. You need to go extra so you can go to Epcot and ride Guardians.
Oh,
you do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Next year,
Fred's favorite part, Epcot.
Yep. Next year we're going to Epcot.
Sweet.
Burn and burn.
Go when you can get
the pumpkin macaroon.
Go when you can get the pumpkin. Yes.
The
pumpkin spice macaroon ice cream sandwich. My absolute favorite Disney snack.
One day. Maybe next year when we go for Epic Universe.
You got it.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up episode 7 of Going Beyond the Castle podcast. I will let you give our beacons page since that's your thing, and I will probably give the wrong answer. So
that's totally fine. Like Lori said, thanks for tuning in. I think it's been a really fun episode. Again, Matt, thanks so much for coming on and being our first guest on the podcast. Definitely, if you're interested in following us, you can find all of our social media pages at beacons.ai /GoingBeyondTheCastle podcast. That has got ways to reach us by email. You can find both mine and Lori's Facebook pages, as well as all the links to listen and follow us on all of our podcast platforms.
That's it. That'll do it.
That's it. All right, we done?
Yep. We'll see you next week.
Okay, cool. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being part of this enchanting journey with us. Stay connected by following us on Facebook at Going Beyond the Castle Podcast and joining our community in the Going Beyond the Castle Podcast Lounge Facebook group. For all your travel needs, contact the official travel agents of Going Beyond the Castle Podcast at info@beyondthecastlepodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, see you real soon.